Welcome to Clocking In, Voices of NC Manufacturing. I'm your host, Phil Mintz, Director of the North Carolina Manufacturing Extension Partnership, otherwise known as NCMEP. My role is to drive outreach to NC manufacturers, build relationships to federal and state leaders, and coordinate efforts to drive profitable manufacturing growth in North Carolina. Throughout my time working closely with manufacturers, I have heard the most quirky, curious, and memorable stories. I wanted to turn these stories into a podcast so that others may hear and be informed and inspired. From humble beginnings to manufacturing titans, from tragedy to triumph, I will be interviewing some of these manufacturers who have made North Carolina manufacturing the powerhouse that it is today. It is now well known that the current pandemic brought an end to the longest U.S. expansion on record, with over 10 years of economic growth. Toward the end of the expansion, all companies were struggling with developing and maintaining a consistent workforce. However, manufacturing, with this need for more technically minded personnel to fabricate and assemble ever more complex items at high production rates, made for even more challenge. Out of necessity came a rise in the use of automation and robotics in many companies as a way to keep up with the demand and to grow profitably. We have seen where smaller manufacturers have been slow to adapt and adopt next generation manufacturing technologies, but not our guest today, as we're clocking in with the voice of North Carolina manufacturing that has become well known in the Triad area for its leadership in plastics manufacturing and its company's use of advanced manufacturing techniques. Geoff Foster is the president and CEO of Core Technology Molding Corporation, located in Greensboro. Founded in 2006, the company has grown to serve customers in over 150 countries with products for a diversified base, including aerospace, appliances, automotive, consumer goods, and medical devices, just to name a few. The company's success is well recognized through many awards, including 2015 North Carolina Minority Women Business-Owned Enterprises Outstanding Achievement Award, the 2015 Greensboro Chamber of Commerce Minority Small Business of the Year, the 2017 BMW Minority Success Story of the Year, and the 2018 North Carolina Minority Women Business-Owned Enterprises Outstanding Achievement Award in Supply. Geoff has earned a bachelor's degree and master's degree in industrial technology with a concentration in applied engineering technology from North Carolina A&T State University. He went on to complete his MBA at Wake Forest University's Babcock Graduate School of Business in May 2001. Geoff owns a patent for a sealed electric connector with over 31 million of these parts used by Ford Motor Company on the Ford, Lincoln, Jaguar, and Mercury models. He has a lot more to say and do with his career and business, and we are excited to speak with Geoff about that today. So Geoff, glad that you could talk with us today. How are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for inviting me, Phil.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. You know, Geoff, I worked in manufacturing and seen a lot of different factories in my day, but I wouldn't even attempt to understand how all that might be involved in having one of my own. You know, were you fascinated about manufacturing at an early age? And how did you decide you want to run a place of your own?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think while I was a junior in college, I actually worked over the summer at Revlon, which is of course, a cosmetic, but they use a lot of plastic. So I got very interested in high-speed manufacturing, producing high volumes. So I was probably about 19, 20 years old. Started out in supervision, then got into industrial engineering, but it really grew when I graduated and got hired. It was AMP, and now it's TE Connectivity. But that's when I really got some leadership roles in quality and product development and product management. Of course, by the time I got to Wake Forest, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur one day and just needed the right opportunity.
So when you came out of the MBA, I mean, did you have all your plans together and you were ready to go, or?
Yeah, that's a great question, because people asked, did I start right away? And I actually waited 7 years. And of course, people asked why, but it was really the fear of failure. So I had a great business plan that actually, we're using today, but it was just the comfort level of working for an employer and not being the employer, knowing you get paid the 15th and 30th. And as an entrepreneur, I probably went 11 months without any pay. So
wow, yeah.
So that it was just a fear of failure, but I had a plan for sure.
Yeah, great. So, Geoff, just talk about your business a bit. What kind of things do you make and how does it get done?
Yeah, sure. So since 2015, Phil, we manufacture 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So today, for example, on Friday, we have a weekend crew that comes in also. They work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we have a first, second, and third shift, and then we have a fourth and a fifth shift, which are 12-hour shifts on the weekend. We're very competitive in the automotive industry, which is a third of our business. So BMW Manufacturing is our largest automotive customer, where we ship to South Carolina twice a week, and then we ship to Germany, China, Russia, and South Africa for their X3 and X4 SUV. We do aerospace. There's another large customer with HAECO, and we produce parts for Airbus. The third company that's very large for us, but is going to be our largest next year, and the pandemic is part of that, but it's Merck. So we are going to be producing about 100 million plunger rods a year in 2021, and 2022 is going to be about 200 million. So the volume and the revenue is going to be really shifting more from the automotive and aerospace, where the biological pharmaceutical space is going to be really driving the revenue and the growth. We have a class 10,000 and a class 1,000 medical clean room. So in those spaces, it's highly sterile. It's actually cleaner than an operating room, but with the pandemic, it's really given us other opportunities to grow with PPE. But that's going to be really the area to focus on in the next 5 years for us, is medical device and biological pharmaceutical.
No, I talked about at the top about the challenges of workforce and developing that and making sure that you have what you need to grow. And the way you talk about it, that you guys are still seeing a lot of growth. And so how do you get it all done? I know that you've committed to using, technology. Can you speak a bit about how you do that?
Sure. So for the last 14 years, I've actually been an adjunct professor at North Carolina A&T in the Applied Engineering Technology Department. So as far as professionals, we have a pipeline that we keep grooming. We're training, we develop, we bring them in as students, interns. So we finished one internship last Friday. This is our first time going to ECU. So we had a strong manufacturing engineer from ECU, and we have another intern that's here that will finish next week from North Carolina A&T. And we're actually interviewed last year or this year, NC State. And then with the pandemic, they weren't able to come down here and participate. So we keep a pipeline of young talent that are very knowledgeable about cutting edge technology. So we're actually getting into the additive manufacturing space. We partnered with HP. So we have a brand new 3D color printer that's here for rapid prototyping, even production with 3D printing. So I think with the students, North Carolina A&T especially, we've been able to stay on top of the industry, where some of our competitors are using equipment or using techniques that are 20 years old, and we're staying ahead of the curve. I think that's really helped us grow and bring new customers that are very ahead of the curve. A lot of our customers are European, where they've been doing some of these things for years already.
Yeah, I see a lot of robots and automation when I walk through your plant as well.
That's right.
Is that a foundation part of the way you grow?
That is a foundation, Phil, and that's how we're able to grow and we're able to compete. So we've really been able to reshore and bring business back to the U.S. that was in China. So, when you're trying to compete against China and they're paying someone 90 cents a day, you really have to have efficiency. You have to have automation and high level of repeatability. So with the automation, we have some artificial intelligence where we're able to actually monitor our process remotely, and even our customer has transparency where they're able to see our efficiencies, and our customers love that. They really want to have that transparency where we're not trying to hide anything, but they get to see how efficient we are, and they get to see our inventory remotely. So, we were working on this last year. We went live with the new ERP system January 1st. Of course, we had no idea how the pandemic, was even coming, but now our customers really appreciate that. they can call, but they don't have to call. They can actually get this data, this information remotely.
Yeah, I think we talked about right before we got started, the challenges of the pandemic and not being able to kind of show and tell and meet customers and have them there. How's that really affected things in your?
It's very, very different, man. We spend hours a week on Zoom, man, probably 8 to 10 hours a week, with different customers, man. So
Yeah.
it's even more time consuming, just it's different.
Well, at least you're not jumping on a plane going a bunch of places.
That's right. We're not jumping on planes, and actually we need to be taking some trips, probably the end of the year somewhere. I'm hoping things get a little better. We need.
Yeah, maybe we talk about that because I'm guessing that it's probably very different to try to figure out what to make for a company virtually than it is kind of when you get a chance to go to the plant and see it and all of that.
It helps when you can touch, see, feel it. I think one of the challenges we're having is, we're growing, but that's with PPE, but it's difficult growing with new customers right now because they want to come see, meet us, and it's difficult for them to justify moving business without kind of the handshake and checking the temperature at the plant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's right.
Even Facebook Live. I mean, we're looking for opportunities to show potential customers, our capabilities without them coming in. So, for example, customer Unilever is 600 miles away, but they can see our whole process when we can walk them through the plant like they're here. So I think when we do that, we still give a high level of confidence to a customer or a potential customer that we're capable of manufacturing their product. So we just have to be more creative. It's different than we've ever done things before. Usually just say you set up a meeting and they'll come down here, but now it's done remotely. But it's been working. It's just a longer cycle actually than when they come visit right away.
Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit about your relationship with North Carolina A&T State University, and of course, I know that you're very closely tied with them. You basically operate almost right there on their campus. Can you talk a bit about your relationship with North Carolina A&T and in relationship to kind of their technology research and how you might use some of that? I know at one time I mentioned that you kind of walked up the street and saw some technology that you guys might have been able to use on a quote or something like that. Was that right?
That's right. That's right. So Chancellor Harold Martin at North Carolina A&T, he's really a visionary where he approached me about 3 years ago now and asked how would we like to be on the campus. I just had no idea how well this would work, not just for our current customers, but we bring new customers or potential customers next door to the nanoscience and nanoengineering school. So they're able to do biocompatibility testing for our customers. So several times our customers will come here. Some fly here from Germany, and the first stop is the nanoscience and nanoengineering. So when they see those capabilities, 200 yards away, they have a higher level of confidence that we can meet their needs, and we become our customers' R&D arm, where it might take them 6 months to do something, and we can do it in 48 hours. So next door, we were able to actually 3D print parts in 24 hours, ship them to our customer. The next day, they were on the customer's assembly line, and they drove them off that day and drove them around the track, and they actually sold those cars. So when we're able to have a turnkey where we can do prototype, full-scale, ramp-up manufacturing all under one roof, it just adds tremendous value. And others, want to move business here or actually relocate from a low-cost producing country.
Yes. So I get, is that an indication of where things are going in the industry? I know that you talked about within the pandemic, things are, PPE and things like that from the short term, but, just this whole kind of integration of development and manufacturing, is that how, the industry, and I guess not just plastics, or maybe all industry may be evolving to?
I think all industries. So we have several projects, and our German colleagues call it localization. So we have several components that we purchase from China, Germany, Austria, that they want us to manufacture here. So in case of another pandemic, we don't have this issue where we can't get parts. So localization is going to be the big term for us over the next year, where parts we were purchasing, we're going to be making in-house that we had no intention, with long lead times, cost of shipping, when we can produce it right here. So that's going to be very big. I don't think just for plastic, but I think in manufacturing in general, what can you make here instead of overseas? Or I don't think it's going to be so attractive to go to a low cost producing country anymore.
So just a bit about, developing your own business, and also, oftentimes in anything you try to approach, working in the minority area makes it a little bit more difficult. A recent study shows that even right now, there's just very few minority-owned manufacturing, and I'm sure that's a lot more about the difficulty in doing that rather than who you are. And so do you have any kind of insights to kind of what is involved in trying to get going? I know you talked about it was more about the fear of being the guy that runs the place, but I don't know that there was any roadblocks to that. I think it's just really just having a good plan and getting going. Is that accurate?
I think it is, Phil, having a good plan and taking I call it a leap of faith, but yeah, having a good plan. I think it is challenging for manufacturing because it's so capital intense. So, we have millions of dollars of equipment, and unless you have millions of dollars of cash, you're going to have to find a financial institution to have a relationship with. So, we actually use 2 or 3 different banks to help us, especially starting this company. That's always a challenge, getting a new customer but not having the capital equipment or the resources. But I think you just have to have a solid business plan. That's key for sure.
And I would guess once you get rolling, it's a little bit easier. You get your business going and you got customers and things like that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always toughest getting the first customer. That's always the challenge, because not having a long list of customers, because one of the first questions asked is, who are your other customers? And when, you hear the crickets, that makes it tough.
Yeah. All right. So where are things going with you Geoff, in core technology? You're going to have enough room to grow where you are right now? It looks like you still got more things you want to do.
Yeah. Hey, great question. I just got a call from the Chamber of Commerce. So in the next 90 days, we want to expand into the other half of the building. So just with our growth in the biological pharmaceutical, we're going to need another clean room. So we will be expanding into the other half of the building this year, Phil, where we're making product for Merck. And that is really going to be a game changer, where we'll be doing automotive in one half of the building and a lot more of the medical device in the other half of the building. So, we've got a brand new state-of-the-art facility that's LEED certified, and having another clean room to work with these biological pharmaceutical companies. Of course, some of that work is for COVID-19. So we're excited that we're going to be able to touch so many lives, even with the plunger rods. Next year, 25 million of those plunger rods are going to be for infants, for newborn babies.
So it looks like that, sadly, the COVID-19 pandemic has also been an opportunity for you guys to do some more things. Did you see some of your traditional things go down any, or is everything still pretty steady?
Right now, things are pretty steady. However, I guess 2 months ago, BMW closed down their plant for a month globally. So we weren't able to ship any BMW parts. Whirlpool shut down for a month. Some of their employees, unfortunately, were ill with COVID-19. But those are back up just as strong as they were before. However, the aerospace is definitely down. So that's one that I think it will be down for a while, actually, as far as people traveling in new airplanes or replacement parts. I think that industry is going to struggle for years.
Well, Geoff, it's really exciting to see and hear you talk about the reshoring activities. I know that at the government level, there's been a good bit of talk about, companies, focusing on PPE and also, cutting down some of these lead times because of things they're buying offshore. And just, I guess, as you may know, just being able to get things from offshore it's been tough during the pandemic. And so, we are certainly proud of what you've been able to accomplish at Core Technology and for the Triad and for all the people that you're helping. I mean, I know for a fact that you're helping a lot of kids and young professionals along the way, and we certainly appreciate you doing that for our state. And we hope that I don't know, are you from North Carolina?
No, I'm actually originally from New Jersey, and I never thought I'd be in North Carolina, but now, so I've been here almost 30 years now.
Yeah. Well, you have no ideas or thoughts of going back to New Jersey or anything like that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, we're certainly glad to have you here, and we're proud of the work that you've been doing in manufacturing, and we wish you to continue success. And just let us know. I know we've been working with you a good bit over the last couple of years, and we're happy to support your business.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You guys have been very supportive, and we look forward to a long relationship together.
All right. I will let you get back to work today, Geoff, and thanks again for all you do for the state.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining today's Clocking In, Voices of NC Manufacturing. This podcast is brought to you by NC State's College of Engineering, the North Carolina Manufacturing Extension Partnership, and Industry Expansion Solutions. If you'd like to learn more about the solutions NCMEP offers, go to www.ncmep.org. Want to listen to previous Clocking In podcasts? Go to ncmep.org/clockingin.